The following video contains spoilers. We suggest watching the episodes alone in the dark. Viewer beware, you're in for despair. Hey Wolfpack, Cat's back with a dynamic return to R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. Woohoo! Unfortunately, it's to talk about all the worst episodes ever. Dope! Anyone who's loved horror since Kittenhood is well aware of author R.L. Stine's iconic franchise, Goosebumps. A perfect entry point for kids to get into horror, for some even being as great as the awesome Haunting Hour and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Goosebumps has dazzled and traumatized all of us for life, with endless tales of suspense, many of which are still outstanding to this very day. Heck, Goosebumps is so legendary that R.L. Stine's still expanding this saga, leaving trillions of books and pupils behind, gifting all a colossal legacy long after he becomes a ghost. And of course, I too am a big fan. Love the Haunting Hour with all my black heart. So naturally, I concur that Goosebumps is just as masterful too, thanks to all the creative storytelling, riveting plots, intense scares, and as you can guess, iconic monsters of the dark, who terrified us just as much as the hardcore psychos of the spooky genre do. Unfortunately, for as many grand epics we enjoyed, there are some bad eggs in the mix too, as Goosebumps did have quite a few divisive to horrid fail bombs, which even most Goose fans despise.
Boo this man!
Don't get me wrong, I love Goosebumps equally to The Haunting Hour, but I don't think even the greatest talents always nailed everything 1000% perfectly. And we all know Stine's 90s Goosebumps show was full of big misses. It's no secret that the first ever Goosebumps show had some trash effects, lame plot lines, dumb ideas, dumber comedy, and books which were so awful fans were shocked the TV show even tried adapting them. And appropriately, that's what we're here to forewarn you about. Goosebumps is a flawed show to a degree, and while it was great seeing our favorite books on the big screen, some endeavors were piss poor. There are some infamous failures even among our horror classic, and fans have a wide variety of feelings towards these stinkers in particular.
No! I'm bad!
What exactly is a bad Goosebumps fable? Well, let's stop wasting time and show you. These are my top 5 worst Goosebumps tales ever.
That's reality, Mash.
Reality? Who needs it? I hate reality.
Oh, wowie zowie. Talk about a weird fever dream. Don't Go to Sleep is one of the most infamously bizarre episodes of the series, as it tried adapting an already weird book into an even weirder cringe comedy. This tale's earned a so bad it's good rep amongst the fanbase, and it's not hard to see why. The showrunners had no clue what the heck they were even doing for this, as the mood, plot, scares, and debatable humor are all over the place. Don't Go to Sleep's about a neglected poor loser named Matt, tired of his unfair life and criticizing his reality, only to soon find himself jumping across thousands of multiverses, living out different realities and alternate universe Matt would live in, while suffering wacky hijinks each time. The show takes an ultra fascinating concept about multiverses and dreams, only to spin it entirely into a bad joke. They took nothing seriously about this concept at all, and bastardized the whimsical nature of the book for a goofy kid-com. This episode's so loony, over the top, confusing, unfunny, and worst of all, unscary. Matt's being taught a lesson on not taking his life for granted, but it's done in such a garbage way, because basically the kid's being punished for wanting to improve his life.
Guilty!
Guilty?
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty, guilty, guilty!
Two Men in Black ripoffs and a doofy Quaker judge lecture a kid for not dealing with the shitty hand he was dealt in life, and use cosmic forces to punish him for daring to want his own bedroom, when it was a room nobody was even using.
Asshole!
And essentially, the entire tale is here to teach kids not to take life for granted, because it could be worse, like in these alternate realities, where you could marry some ugly bitch.
How dare you keep me waiting on our wedding day!
Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today.
You're ugly!
This episode sucks because it's ridiculous, not scary, ruins a masterful concept, is stuffed to the brim with cringe humor that never makes you laugh, and worst of all, teaches a bad moral that amounts to telling people, life sucks, get over it. I can understand some loving this because it's a stupid-ass wacky mess, but to me, the moral is what earns it a high place among the bad dreams.
Oh, Matt, the fun's just beginning.
Here we go.
Oh no.
Oh! Be quiet.
I know, a cat hating a dog? Plot twist of the millennium. But what can I say? If there's anything worse than a garbage Goosebumps plot, it's a boring Goosebumps plot. R.L. Stine has gone on record saying that there are two classic Goosebumps fables he's personally ashamed of: Go Eat Worms and The Barking Ghost, since he considers them his weakest work. And he's right, because this adaptation shows you exactly why. This doggy-doo's a mess.
How'd you know my name?
I, saw you moving yesterday.
I didn't see you.
I was hiding in the woods.
This episode has some of the worst writing ever, worst pacing, worst use of its monsters, worst attempts at being scary, worst animal actors, worst world building, worst sound effects, worst camera work, worst twists, and actually shatters its own magical rules it sets up earlier. A loser Dorkasaurus named Cooper moves into a haunted countryside where he hears spooky ghost dogs at night. After befriending some weird girl named Fergie, they attempt to solve the mystery of these vanishing mongrels, only for the ghosts to reveal themselves and enact a body swap plot.
What?
Yeah, did anyone watching this episode or reading this book expect this turn? The Barking Ghost is a body swap plot, where two random villains we know nothing about lose their souls and bodies while trapped in a changing tree, leading to the ghost dogs hijacking the bodies of human children to live again, while the brats become pups, devolving into a wacky comedy episode. Exactly like Don't Go to Sleep, this is tonally confused, as the ghost dogs quickly spiral into doofy goofballs who are too stupid to win. The ghost powers make zero sense, the body swap concept is played as a joke, the kid heroes are stupid as hell, crap villains, the climax is absolutely rushed, the idiot bully bro's annoying, it's painfully unscary, and the biggest gripe is how boring it is. The Barking Ghost gets so dull, as they stretch the concept out for far too long, and the fact that there's no real solid ending makes it worse. I can't even describe the plot outside of a 40-minute review, because random-ass crap just happens to get the story moving, and Stine clearly made up everything as he went along. No wonder he hates it. The worst villains ever, the worst comedy ever, the worst mystery ever, the Barking Ghost is simply a bad dog who needs to be put down.
You mean we can read each other's thoughts?
I think so. What am I thinking now?
Chicken salad, chicken pot pie, chicken wings.
Stupid dog!
Oh no.
You're not getting away with this, understand?
Soon I'll be the only one.
Strain Peas is another one of the most infamously hated tales among the fandom, because many found the basic premise absolutely stupid. And they were right. This tale's about a demon baby. A baby. A baby is our monster.
Here's the clicker. No one would blame you.
A boy named Nicholas has a new baby sister born into the family. However, unbeknownst to his parents, their baby Grace is secretly a monster in disguise, seeking to purge Big Bro from the equation. And yeah, it's as freaking stupid as it sounds. Essentially, the entire plot's an unironically dead serious tale where Nicholas has to expose Grace and prove her evil, while of course, nobody believes him. I'm not even gonna waste my courage gag on this because it's just so dumb. Babies aren't scary. The episode tries so damn hard to make Grace out into this monster walking among us, but it fails every time because it's too stupid to take seriously. The effects suck, the CGI mouths suck, the humor's lame, and seeing a big kid getting his arse thrashed by a mini-me is too silly to fear. Honestly, the concept of a demon child in your home is a good one, but Goosebumps does not do a grand job making it work, and it's held back by the family-friendly nature, downgrading a horror nightmare into a pathetic Austin Powers wannabe. Grace is easily one of the worst monsters on the show, since she's too zany to dread. The fact that she's related to Horrorland horrors is her only good scene. Tragically, this is one of those Stine stories where you kinda realize that the show staff can't work their magic on every concept successfully, as Strain Peas is an idea which simply couldn't work in live action. I never even knew this episode existed until I began reviewing this show, and frankly, I wish I didn't know because Strain Peas makes you strain pissed.
I'm Big Brother Nicholas.
Cut that baby talk and give me some food. None of that mushy junk.
I'll take care of this!
Oh no.
You Can't Scare Me had such an interesting setup for a mud monster and decent idea for a kitty comeuppance story, but ultimately epic fails hard. What makes this episode second place amongst our top losers? Well, you know how both the book and show advertise a cool looking mud monster rising out of Fever Swamp looking like they'll invade civilization? Guess what? Doesn't happen. Instead, Stine thought instead of watching kick-ass monsters, you'd much rather see two idiot bullies stirring up shit with a twat named Courtney. This episode's by far the biggest blunder Goosebumps ever dumped out. I mean no excaturation when I tell you that the monster is barely in this. The mud monster is sidelined for a stupid-ass kid-com about two idiot bullies trying to one-up and scare the most popular, greatest kid in the universe, Courtney. The kids hog the spotlight for 90% of this episode, and it's sinfully boring and unfunny. I hated this episode ever since I first watched it, and totally failed to see any good in it because nothing frickin' happens. It's just two unlikable brats in a pissing contest with another unlikable brat, pranking each other all episode until the monster shows up in the last 5 minutes of a half-hour bore. And you do not like anyone in this. I don't want the idiot bullies to win because they're idiot bullies with unhinged hate boners for this girl who doesn't even know they exist. But I also don't want Courtney to win because she comes across as a smug, self-righteous, arrogant bitch who talks down to everyone, even grown-ass adults. She sucks as much as the bullies do.
I also told him that being a hero comes with lots of responsibility. That's why saving the lives of two frightened little boys, Hat and Eddie, were something I had to do.
Oh God, I want to hit you!
The idiot bullies want to knock Courtney off her high horse, only to epic fail every time because Courtney's just too perfect to an annoying degree. I got so sick of seeing the kitty antics in this that I totally forgot this was even a Goosebumps tale at times, since the lame-ass hijinks drag on forever. Even when Shrek finally shows up to scare the kids, it's ruined because perfect Courtney is just too OP for him.
Don't interrupt. I can feel your anger.
I can feel your anger? What is she, a Sith Lord? Courtney versus Rey, Battle of the Mary Sues! And for no reason at all, the monster just stands there as Courtney lectures him to death. Yeah, she femsplains the mud monster to death, and he just stands there taking it like a bitch until he dies. Worst monster ever. The Courtney character is just an obnoxiously insufferable know-it-all. And the fact that she wins on top only pisses you off even more. You can't scare me slow, stupid, lame, cheap, and painfully unfunny. Screw Courtney, screw the idiot bullies, and triple screw the mud monster. This episode's title is exactly what it promises. Unscary.
Courtney, you know you don't need to do any extra work. You've already got an A+.
Yeah, but I was hoping I can get something higher.
There is no such thing.
You sure? We're in science class. We can invent one.
So what you're saying is, you're a dork?
Before we reach our number one, here's a few dishonorable mentions. Be real, you all saw this coming. Say Cheese and Die Again perfectly captures that feeling of disappointment one gets from a bad horror sequel. After the huge ratings hit of the OG Haunted Camera episode, the studio encouraged R.L. Stine to write another chapter for the evil camera to regain that success once more. Tragically, this wasn't only inferior to the original Say Cheese and Die, but it won the championship belt of infamously bad horror sequels. Say Cheese and Die Again takes everything bad from the original and grows it far, far worse. For starters, this episode's a comedy. What the hell? Yeah, after how scary and grim the first was, this sequel decided to make the haunted camera funny now, which led to predictable results. Despite vowing to never ever use that cursed camera ever again, our kid hero Greg, not played by Mr. Knuff, makes the brain-dead choice to get the camera back, to prove to his douchebag teacher, Mr. Sour, that the cursed artifact was real, to gain an A in English class. For reals, this is our plot. Greg doesn't want to fail a report, or, you know, rewrite a realistic life story, so he decides to steal the camera again, where of course, he and his idiot bestie snap pics of each other again. Oh, but the idiot plot isn't even the worst part. Instead of killing people, you know, like on the original, the camera grants funny hexes now. It makes Sherry rapidly decay into a scrawny skeleton who can't even lift lightweight toys, and it makes Greg fat.
Sherry, I woke up and I was huge. I'm like a blimp.
And this is the biggest reason why folks hate this episode. You bet Stine and his staff mock the hell out of fat kids, as Greg's weight gain literally expanding him until he blows up is totally played for laughs. Greg's mocked for being a lardo, kids tease him, his class ridicules him, strangers giggle how he can't even fit in people clothes, and the tale pretty much lampoons his fat rear for 20 minutes.
Ooh, a Fat Man Falls. Real original.
Wow, really making all the husky kids out there feel good, eh, Goosebumps? Let's mock the cancer kids next. This episode's just plain mean. Ordinarily I can take a joke, but all the comedy centers around Sherry and Greg's gross body deformities, which is not only cruel, but also undercuts any tension in this horror show. Even Greg roasts himself over how fat he's gotten.
Nothing fits me anymore. What am I gonna wear?
You shut your mouth, you bastard! Who is fat?
Tee, it's so funny. You're gonna die. And even if you can somehow overlook the nasty fat jokes, starvation jokes, and body shaming, this episode's not even scary, just stupid. For one, why the hell don't you just tear up the photos? In the original, Greg saves Sherry from her dark fate by ripping up her cursed photo to bring her back in reality. But for some dumbass reason, they don't do that here. To prevent their deaths. Why?
What? And ruin the plot?
Oh, and the camera's magic is neutered completely when Greg's idiot bro uses Photoshop to save the day. Yep, this badass cursed camera is weakened by tearing up pics and using Photoshop filters. You suck more than the mud monster.
I'm such a dork.
The only good thing here is that Mr. Sour gets his karma when he has a pic of him going bald, losing his hair on the spot. It's not enough to warrant the rest of this crap. I'm still squicked out at how many shots we got of a fat dude's bod spliced onto a kid in gross-up close-up. Say cheese and die again is irredeemable trash. It's got a trash fire plot, idiot horror decisions, breaks continuity, lame-ass cringe comedy over scares, unlikable characters, lousy effects, and is ultra mean-spirited. Plus, what happened to Spidey? Folks, this episode is hated because they just didn't care. And to me, that is why this is the #1 worst tale of Goosebumps.
That's not a threat! Say cheese.
I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I hope to see you on my next picture.
I have a glandular problem.
That'll be $60.